Convention. Right about now, we get into our health check segment where we talk matters, not health, rather family check, where we talk matters family. And today we will be talking about mental health awareness. To be specific, we're looking at mental health awareness among the young generation, just trying to see how that looks for them. You know, when you talk about mental wellness, what exactly does that mean for them as the young people? And we'll also, we are also joined by a specialist in this, because he's a mentor, he's a teacher, and an author and a publisher as well. So allow me to introduce my panelists, beginning with Mr. George W. Wafula, who's on my immediate right. Mr. George is a youth and teen mentor. He's a trainer, a teacher, author, and publisher, as I had mentioned earlier. Mr. George, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Vivian. Thank you for having me.
All right, it's a pleasure. And then let me go to the lady. We have Agnes Mbala. So we have Agnes Mbala. Agnes Mbala is a journalism student. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Vivian.
And then we also have Josam Silaba. Josam is a youth community leader, a mental health advocate, and a podcaster as well. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
And last but not least, we have Joe Ndoro. Joe is a journalism student as well. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Pleasure.
All right, so we have you as the young people to get to tell us what your thoughts on mental health awareness is all about. So I would love to begin with you. Maybe I can start with Joe. When you hear mental health wellness, what does that mean for you?
Okay, when we talk about mental health wellness, I think you have to first understand what mental health means. Mm-hmm. And to me, mental health is just the state of emotional, maybe psychological and social well-being. Mm-hmm. It is what affects how you think, how you feel, how you act, how you relate with others, the kind of choices you make, the decisions that you make. And let me begin by thanking you for, first of all, instigating this conversation. It is a very important conversation to have, especially involving the young generation. I think you have to be aware of what mental health is. Of course, you have to get to understand all the conditions that are related to mental health.
Okay.
Yeah, and once you get to understand it, that is the first journey.
All right, let me get to hear from Agnes. Agnes, from your point of view, what does mental wellness specifically mean for you?
Okay, thank you, Vivian. For me, mental health includes having a peace of mind, having a coherent thought of reasoning. You're always at par with the issues that are affecting you and the world. You're able to think with others correctly, and you're able to perform in whichever expertise that you are in.
All right.
Yeah.
Josam, you are a mental health advocate. You are loud about mental wellness. Yeah. Maybe if you can just let me know what got you into that, into that point where you decided, I will be talking loudly about matters mental health.
Honestly, about what I have gone through and what I have seen youths gone through, I've seen that many youths are afraid to talk about mental health. They're afraid to share about it. Maybe it's because of the stigma, or they don't really get to understand more about mental health. And I got into this venture because I wanted to create that safe space for youths and other people to talk about mental health. And sometimes we just have to create that safe space for us to listen. Yeah.
Yeah. We need space to be listened to.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get back to that. Now, I want to engage you, George. You know, they've mentioned what they feel mental health is all about, and he's talked about the importance of him just wanting to create that space for people to speak openly about their mental wellness, because he's gone through something that we'll get into it later. So just from your point of view, why is it so important for us now to get to talk about mental wellness in this day and age? Why is it important for us to laud it?
Quite very important, because mental health wellness is something or a subject that affects all of us. Only that it happens to be more pronounced to around the youth.
I have to cut you short a bit. Let's take a break and then we'll come back to that. Let's take a break. And we're back. Thank you for staying with us. Before we took that break, I had just asked you, George, why is it so important for us to talk about mental wellness, especially in this day and age?
Thank you very much. First is to appreciate that the issue of mental health has been there over history of mankind, affecting everybody. And probably in our age, because of the technological space and the media highlights. And it tends to put up there every case that happens around. And also our young people are exposed to such cases whereby many of them are being affected, and therefore, and when those who are not affected, they're able to see in the print media, in social media, seeing things that are happening around young people, some taking their lives, some dropping out of school, some involved in drugs. And therefore it becomes a very, very important conversation to have it right now, in every space, in our homes, in our schools, anywhere that, in that world of young people. And therefore it's very important, and especially young people, because to them there's a lot of transition happening around them. It tends to affect them more, and some of them might make decisions based on their state of mental health. So when they are conscious and aware about it, the merits on how to handle it, or how to be able to contain or manage the situation, then it's very critical. Yes.
And maybe just to get to hear from you, Agnes, have you ever been at a point where you are battling, you know, with your mental health? And if you're open to talk about it, you can let us know maybe how you got to that position, and how you were able to overcome it.
Okay, for me, I was able to get out of depression. I believe it happened because I entered into a relationship which later became toxic, and it affected me deeply due to the circumstances that were there. And then because I didn't have let's say a supportive parent that can hear me out of the issues and the prevailing circumstances that were affecting me at that time, I ended up thinking by myself. Yeah, which and also having entered in a relationship that became toxic, it led me to cutting off the people that I knew, the friends that were close to me. I therefore became closed, and which made me isolated. And that isolation, I believe, is what led me into a world that I never, a world that I never knew I can enter, because as a person, I speak a lot, and it's just not my nature for me to be quiet like that. So in this situation, or in this phase of life, I became a quiet lady. Yeah,
and no one really realized that you were falling into a depression, because as you mentioned, you're someone who speaks a lot. So when you became, now you're closed, you don't speak much, you know, you keep to yourself, no one really noticed?
Okay. You see, having cut myself from the people that knew me, of course I don't know, maybe at that particular time, things were moving so fast, and I don't know, maybe everybody was having their own life. So very few people could reach to me. Yeah, at that time, because it happened at a phase where I had already dropped out from college, and having dropped out from college due to financial constraints, and all that, it broke my heart. And then after my heart breaking, I entered in a relationship that I never knew is going to be, is going to put me in a valley that I will never understand. So having dropped out from campus, and then I entered that relationship, it somehow distanced me from the life that I knew I wanted. You see, that's I wanted to study, I wanted to finish my degree and then go to the job market, but it didn't happen at that time. So having entered now to the world of relationship, it spoke a different language for me. But because I don't have somebody who is mentoring me or even supporting me that close, and I know if when they listen to me, they will even attest to themselves in their heart, because at that time I didn't have anyone in particular that keeps me at par with the issues of my life. Yeah, like knowing, apart from me studying, how is it monitoring other issues, you see? So I've dropped out, and then I have entered into a relationship because I want to feel like life is continuing. Yeah, so I've cut off the life of education and the friends that I had at that time, and now I've entered a relationship. I don't know if maybe I was, I can say maybe I was ignorant, because I started the relationship with not much knowledge of how, let's say, because it became like a come we stay. Yeah. Yeah, being in that particular age, like is it 23? It's a very, what can I call it?
Delicate.
It's a very delicate age. Even now, it's a very delicate age, and that is where you're supposed to have somebody who is always working with you.
Yeah, I agree with you on
that. Yes.
Maybe, Joe, just to get your point of view, do you as young people talk amongst yourself matters mental wellness? Because as she said, no one really knew what she was battling. You know, yes, she had cut off her friends and all, but just from you and, you know, the circle you keep and the friends you have around you, is this something that ever comes up? Do you ever sit and, you know, talk amongst yourselves, ask each other how you feeling, especially as a man? Because, you know, most men don't really talk about their issues. So is this something that you get to talk about, and do we pay enough attention to the people around us?
Okay, we do talk, but one thing that I've noticed is that most people are in depression, but they actually do not know that they are in depression. Yeah. And for us as young people, sometimes we tend to ignore our peers whenever they try to share things with us. And, you know, some people are very expressive, even on these socials. Probably you will be there, and then you see a story, someone is saying that life is difficult. Someone may be saying that he has gotten to a point that he or she wants to end their lives. And I think sometimes we do not pay attention. We look at it and think, where wacha? This is not, it is not that serious, you see. I had a friend who was battling depression, but he didn't actually know that he was undergoing depression. And I think losing a parent can be, okay, I think it's the biggest factor that is leading many people into depression. And you find after losing a parent, there is no one to actually take you through the healing process. Even the family members, they only talk about, you know, supporting you financially, paying for your school fees, but no one really gets to take you through the healing process. I'm lucky to have all my parents alive, But I know that for many people, you know, some of us, we are very intentional with what we want, with our goals. And you might find that your parent has sacrificed a lot for you to be able to reach where you've been able to reach.
All right, I'll cut you short a bit. We need to head over to State House, Nairobi. On Family Check, Good Morning Kenya, we were talking about mental health awareness, specifically among the younger generation. We had already started the convo, and yeah, where were we? If we can just get into, you were talking about just how easy has it been, you know, for you as young people to speak about mental wellness openly, you know, among yourselves. You had given us your pointers, and now I would love to hear from Josam, because this is what you are mainly about. You know, you even have a podcast whereby you talk matters mental wellness. So would you say it's easier now for younger people or for young people to openly speak about mental health, you know, from the people you've gotten to interact with in the same space, you know, matters that mental wellness? Is it easier now? Are younger people more open to speak about it now?
I would say mental health is better compared to the previous generation.
Okay.
But the pressure is high. Pressure from school, pressure from social media and in a comparison, pressure from cultural beliefs. But we are talking, and we have to create that space for people to know more about mental health, to understand more about it. Yeah.
Yeah. George, when you talk about stigma around mental health, mental wellness, I think this has been there for years on end. You know, every time we talk about mental wellness, kuna the stigma around it. You know, you don't want to say that you're struggling, you know, mentally, because utaambiwa huyu ni kama ameanza kuchizi da. You know, no one looks at it like it's a disease like every other. You know, it's the same way I would say naumwa na kichwa. That's the very same way I'm allowed to say that I'm feeling like I'm battling depression, or I'm having anxiety. So maybe what do you feel should be done, or where are we in terms of getting to a point where we have accepted mental health conditions to a point where now there's no stigma around it, so that it's easier to even navigate it for the person who's going through it?
Thank you so much, Vivian. The issue of stigma is actually something we need to look at, especially I've had the privilege of being brought up in the village, and of course the other side of it, schooling and staying in Nairobi. And when this subject of mental health started being spoken clearly and across even the media, I started flashing back, and I realized some of the cases we used to witness were actually mental cases, but probably we gave them a different name. Somebody probably, we nicknamed somebody, that person is moody. It's not a people person, whereby maybe somebody was withdrawn, or there was a madman in our market. There was a certain man who was actually picking litter in the market, and of course he was not the employee of the county council, but we called them a mad person. And then we hear probably he was bewitched by a neighbor, probably something came up. So you realize that by calling it madness, or probably not wanting to be associated with that person, he got isolated, and that's the stigma around such. So we tend to avoid such people, especially those who have extreme cases. And what was even worse is where maybe somebody committed suicide. And then the culture around that, how that person is buried, like in my culture, they are to be buried very quickly, and mostly before the sun rises. And in some other extreme, because we have subcultures, especially in Western Kenya, others, when they'll bury them behind the house. And also the society is told that person should not be named after. If it's called Wafula, therefore a child in that community should not be named after. And therefore the conversation around mental health becomes key, so that first, sometimes people behave ignorantly. Not that maybe my people are hostile per se, but culture and stigma has come into that matter. So the conversation tends to highlight, clarify, so that when you see somebody withdrawing, stressed up or moody, when we don't look at the effects, we look at what could it be, have a conversation, and where possible, talk about it or approach a specialist, and that will help really clarify that. And therefore, a conversation like this one on this platform, the national broadcaster, comes in very handy.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
so we need to address that.
To speak more about
Exactly.
mental wellness, so that we're able to also just demystify the misconceptions and the myths around it.
Exactly, where possible, have town halls in communities, have young people now share up, like what we have had from the panelists, have that conversation, have people maybe say what they think of it, the experience they have probably gone through, that like what she has said, and then now we get to see how do we handle each other, how do we go about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're living in the internet era, you know, the area of social media. You had touched a bit about social media. Would you say it is generally helping or causing more harm when it comes to matters mental well-being?
I'll say it's in between. It creates opportunities for people, but also it creates that environment where people want to be like someone. People are copying someone, but they don't know that those people, they are not showing the real of themselves. So we tend to copy them, and that brings that conversation of it is a problem. Yeah.
Okay. Joe, from your point of view, social media, because now we are all on social media. I mean, at most times, hapo tu ndo huwa tunashinda. So is it causing more harm or good matters mental well-being? And the comparison bit is coming up when talking about social media. Is that something you also agree to?
Yeah, I think it's a bittersweet situation because when you talk about social media, there's a lot of pressure that comes with it. And, you know, we young people, we tend to compare ourselves with our peers. And, you know, our privileges are different. And particularly when you are young, you have these ambitions. And maybe you're just scrolling on TikTok or Instagram, and then you come across a post by a young person who has a luxurious car, an SUV. And you are there, maybe you're a career person, and the means that they are saying they have used to acquire these, you know, material things are, for example, forex trading and other, you know, tujanja to online. And you start to question the whole system. You start to ask yourself, like, did I make the right decision? Am I supposed to, you know, continue pursuing my career? What is the need for me to wake up very early, you know, be committed, be disciplined? Because, you know, there are others who are making it easily. And you'll find that the lives that people are portraying on social media are not real. And that is becoming a big problem. Secondly, you know, there are also depressed souls out there on social media that, you know, are making posts that can demotivate you. For example, I saw a post by someone. Somebody posted a very good-looking bungalow, and he was saying that he huwezi nunua na career, he huwezi nunua, and he was actually addressing people who are doing teaching. Ebu angalia walimu wote ambao wako hapo, the principals, nobody can live in such a house. And you know, we have these big dreams, and you know, I'm just imagining you are that teaching student somewhere, and you are thinking that this is the way to go, and then someone demotivates you by telling you that, you know, that lifestyle that you dream of cannot be achieved in the line of what you're doing. But on the other side, I think social media also provides us with an opportunity to express ourselves, you know, and people share what they're going through, and you actually get to realize that whatever you're going through, you're not alone. Actually, not just locally, you'll find that there are international problems. Someone in England or in the US or wherever, they get to share some problems that you thought are unique to you. And actually, that helps because you now start viewing life in a different way, knowing that you're not alone, that these are things that happen. Yeah.
So there's the good and the bad side of
Yeah.
it. I'm being told we need to be winding up, but before we do, maybe Agnes, you know, for someone who's openly mentioned that they've battled depression before, there could be someone who's watching us right now, a young lady, a young gentleman, and they are in that situation right now. They are depressed and they don't know how to come out of it. Just how did you get out of it? How are you able to, you know, emerge victorious from it and, you know, be the lady that you are right now here with us, you know, all joyous and all?
Okay. For me, I would say that I worked so hard to get out of it because in the long run, I ended up in the streets. I stayed for a while and I faced all that somebody can face when they are in the streets. The stigma, the isolation and all that, rejection that is. But the people that could see that this person is not really in a bad state, they are the ones who took me up. And after that, I was taken to the mental institution, stayed there for a while and got well, and then I got back home. So what I can tell anyone who is battling depression or they feel that life is overwhelming, they need to speak up to somebody who is close to them. And if they don't have, they can still seek God. Yeah. And if they feel like they don't feel really well and they cannot organize their minds, because that is what happened to me, they just need to go to the hospital. Yeah, that is maybe the first step, because not everyone is religious enough. They need to go to the hospital and then explain their situations. Because with the awareness that is being made in this present day, I believe anyone who will handle that person, he or she will be able to give a direction so that that person doesn't end up in the way I ended up. Yeah.
All right, I need to get your final remarks. I don't know if we'll be able to get final remarks from every one of you, but if you strictly constrain your remarks to 15 seconds, we will get each one's remarks. So 15 seconds.
Quite constraining, but what I would say, this is a wider subject, but what I would say that everybody goes through mental health issues, but what to assure us, especially the young people, just know help is all around you. From our homes, in our churches, in our schools, our government, the counseling centers and wherever. First, I agree with her, speak out and help will be around. Begin with where you are. Maybe there's a teacher next to you, a Sunday school teacher, a teenager's teacher, for example, a mentor. Speak it out. Help is all around you, and I've been in the space of young people, mentoring them in church, in schools. We even have a foundation. We also mentor others, the young adults and the teenagers, and I've also written about them. Maybe next time, I don't know whether it is, but I've done something around the young people. They have a book called The Leading Hand, which highlights the help that is there for young people, where they can reach out for help. And therefore, don't despair. People are around you, help is around you. You can get it done. You can come out of it. Not all is lost.
All right.
Yes.
We have to finish. So thank you so very much to each and every one of you for joining us for this conversation and for shedding light and for speaking about your actual experience in matters mental health and wellness. This is a conversation that cannot end here. It's a conversation that needs to go on. Maybe we'll get to find some more time so that we can be able to speak about it in depth. Thank you so much to each and every one of you who has gotten to join us. My name is Vivian Degwa. This is Good Morning Kenya. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing. See you tomorrow, God willing.